Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl, Brandy Yvonne. Here on my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. This video, we are talking P-Valley. This is season 2, episode 5, titled Savage. Before we get into everything, please click that thumbs up button. If you are enjoying this video, please don't forget to subscribe so you can get those bell notifications of all of my uploads. Also, don't forget to comment. I love to read your comments. And please share this video with a friend. It don't hurt to do that, y'all. Or a family member. Who you think would like it, just share it with them, okay? So anyway, yes, we are getting caught up over here. Y'all know I've been on vacation for like the last, 2 weeks darn near now. Had 2 trips back to back, but I'm home now. Gonna enjoy the rest of my summer break at home from teaching until the school year starts back. Anyway, so that's why this video is a little bit late, but we catching up. After this, just gotta catch up on Married to Medicine, and I think I'll be all caught up. All right, so let's get into the video. Before I get started, I do want to apologize about the last P-Valley review. I forgot to talk about the whole ending with Rome and Wordy and the way he gave him those, was that Profanol, whatever you call it, and made him OD. That was an epic scene, and I can't believe I forgot it. I think I got so caught up on everything else going on in the episode that it was a lot. So again, this week's episode of P-Valley was also a lot. Really talked about trauma, mental health in such a unique way. Like I said before, the acting on this show, especially this season, is phenomenal. But we're gonna get into it. So the episode opens up with a very hot and steamy scene we have Diamond and Big Bone. Ooh, Diamond was laying it on her. I was like, it's cool that they're together in real life to have that. So they're having a sex scene. So it's like, not a stranger really. I was like, that scene was amazing. I was wishing I was her. Anyway, Diamond's body looks so good. He just looks so good, y'all. So anyway, he was putting it on her, but as he's doing it to her, he's seeing Keyshawn's face on her. And so then he started tripping. So then he couldn't really look at her anymore. So he flipped over, just hit it from the back. And so then they finished. And so then she got up to get some water. And she started messing with his little stuff on the tray where the little crystals and stuff, when he took the bullet out of Mercedes' arm and all that. So anyway, so then he was like, oh, if you touch that, your body gonna be all jacked up. And she was like, oh yeah, that wouldn't be a good look. And so then she was saying, your eyes are, she's like, oh, what's wrong? Because he was looking at his phone and he got he got a job to do security for the, I guess the spades tournament that Whisper and Roulette were throwing. I don't know if they were throwing it at the Pank or how they were doing it, but anyway. And so he's gonna do security for them. And so Big Bro asked him why you don't do security down at the Pank no more. And so she was like, your eyes are heavy. You look like you tried to save a girl in there who wasn't ready to be saved yet. And he was like, who told you that? She's like, I could see it in your eyes. And I was like, well, she hit the nail on the head because that's exactly what happened. Because remember, he tried to save Mississippi and she wasn't ready to be saved yet. I think she's getting closer now, though, y'all. She's getting closer. So anyway, she was like, next time, we having sex, you need to have those eyes, those big chestnut eyes looking at me. And that's what I want. So then he's like, how about we make next time, this time? So then he puts her up on the counter. They go to do it again. I was just like, oh, she's so lucky. So anyway, excuse me, y'all. So then they did a little theme song, Down in the Valley where the girls get naked. I'm not going to sing it for y'all. Anyway, then we open back up with, looked like a sideshow to me. That's what they have over here in the West Coast of the Bay Area. So it looked like a little sideshow. So the cars are all spinning around and everybody has on like green, red, and black. And so it's the gang, HVH. I'm assuming it's like a gang. And so we see Big Teak sitting on top of a red car. And then another car over there doing a donut. And there's all these people out there just listening to music, having a good time in an empty parking lot. And so then we see Lil Murda pull up this red and green black camouflage car. And so and he throws the keys to Teak, and so he got it for him. And he says a speech, and at first I thought it was like a dream sequence that Teak was having, but it was real. And so he's like, you know, thank you for holding it down on the inside. We got your back, HVH for life. Well, you know, we had it down on the outside for you. So basically, Lil Murda got Teak that car, okay? So then Teak got in the car. Of course, he's all emotional. He can't believe it. And so Lil Murda's like, give him a minute, y'all. He liable to do donuts. So then Teak started doing donuts all around, okay? And so then we see Lil Murda and Teak go to the barbershop, right? And so I might go out of order just a little bit, y'all, because it just makes more sense to discuss the certain characters and scenarios they went through, because sometimes the bouncing around, I tend to forget. But anyway, y'all know how I do my reviews. So anyway, they go down to the barbershop. And so I guess Teak's real name is Thaddeus West. Seemed like that's what the barber called him. And so they're like, dang, you know, Rome. It's unfortunate that Rome, like, something about Rome dying. And they're like, man, can't believe that happened. And so Teak was like, the barber's like asking Teak what he gonna do now. And then Lil Murda's like, he about to go on the road with me. It'll be security. And so the barber was like burning the top of his afro. I've never seen that before. I don't know if he's getting rid of the dead hair. I don't know what he was doing. He looked good when he's done. He's like, look at you looking casket sharp. So when I watched it the second time, I was like, oh, why'd he say that? So anyway, so Mississippi called Lil Murda. So Lil Murda was like, hey girl, like, why you just really not calling me back? Like, what's going on? And then he was like, it sucks that Rome had to go, you know, die and all that. And then she was like, something happened on a tour. He's like, what happened? She's like, real Rome, you know, Rome tried it with me. He's like, try what? She was like, it. And then he was like, oh, well, good thing that nigga did then. So then she was like, he also knows about you. And then he was like, what you mean you know about me? She was like, he know everything. But then Derek came in. So she's like, well, I gotta go. And then he's like, who you talking to? And then she was like, oh, I'm just on the phone with Lil Murda talking about a tour. And then he was like, yes, the shame Rome died. She's just asking about Rome's funeral arrangement. She lying. And so then she was like, excuse me. So then she was like, yeah, it sucks. And he's like, yeah, he was such a good guy. He got all those deals for you. And he's like, don't worry, baby. You know, I got all these job leads. I'm like, Derek, we heard it all before with them job leads. We didn't heard it all before. So I'm about to sing Sunshine Anderson to him. We didn't heard it all before. Like, get out of here with that. So anyway, he was like, yeah, I'm about to go. He's going to somebody's house to help them build a fire pit or something. And then he said he's going to take a shower first and go over there. So then he was like, you want to join me? And then she was like, oh, no. And she went like this to her mouth. And I don't know what that meant. Is it from when he hit her in the lip was the issue? And so she wasn't going to be able to perform oral. I was trying to understand what that whole little thing meant. Y'all drop down in the comments, let me know what y'all think. That's what I think it means, because she was like, I can't really do nothing because you done messed up my mouth. So anyway, as soon as he left, y'all, Keyshawn goes on to, she gets a gun, like she's waiting for him to leave. As soon as he left, she looked in the little where the heater or something was, pulled out a gun, got the kids, got all the bags together, got the kids together, goes to get in the car. So she's about to escape, but she don't have it together, because if she goes to start the car don't start. She looking back at the car, I guess the engine and some stuff was missing. So I'm like, girl, you didn't have plan B, like you didn't have no escape plan, you didn't have an Uber on the way, like girl. So she just gave up, went back in the house and sat down. I was like, girl, no, you couldn't call Uncle Cliff. Like someone, she couldn't call Uncle Cliff for that. Wouldn't work. But somebody, like she couldn't have plan B, like something, catch a train, something, a bus to Greyhound. Somebody could have get her a ride. Anyway, so that didn't work. So she couldn't call Wardy. I'm sure he would have rescued her. He could get rid of Derek. That's what she need to do. She need to call Wardy to get rid of Derek. That's what Mississippi need to do. So anyway, now let's get back over to the paint. So back over to the paint, we see Big L comes out the back with the some kind of tool. He had did something to the water. He's like, wait for her. So Autumn is still staying at the paint. I don't know where her money at, where she can't get her own place. But anyway, she's still staying at the paint and she's taking a shower, but he turned the water off. And so she come out screaming like, turn the water back on. What the hell's going on? She's like, you better turn that water back on. And so then Clifford had her red dress, because she had this red dress and she was going to a ball later. And so then she was like, I'm trying to get ready. And he was like, oh, where are you going with this red number on? And then she was like, none of your business. And he was like, I can't believe you trying to take, put the paint back on the chopping block. And so then she went back in the shower, and then he was looking at her on the cameras and so on the TV mode, the monitors really. And he's like, what are you planning now, you autumn nightmare? I was cracking up when he called her an autumn nightmare. So anyway, Big L said something about some air conditioners, $5,000. Clifford said on top of the $11,000 they got to pay the county for the health inspection fees. He's like, I'm gonna have to start showing my feet on OnlyFans or something. And Big L was like, the internet might be the way to go. And then he started talking about another truck drop they have. And so Clifford said, I don't like that connect life, Big L. So then he sees the social media where it's page, I guess one of the strippers' pages on Instagram or something, where it says they're going to have the annual spades tournament. I'm assuming they said it was down at the Pank, but I'm not really sure. So anyway, he's like, I should shoot them heifers. So Roulette and Whisper are the ones throwing the event. I'm assuming they're throwing it with other people. I don't know. But anyway, he's like, I can sue them heifers for copyright infringement, however you say the words. So anyway, I'm like, Roulette and Whisper just doing whatever they want to do at the Pank. So anyway, like, Clifford can't do nothing with them girls. So anyway, then we see, let's go on to Mercedes. So then we see Mercedes goes over to the lady's house who was raising her daughter. Oh my God, I cannot think of that lady's name right now. Anyway, she goes over, Rochelle. She goes over to Rochelle's house. That's her name. She goes over to Rochelle's house. And so she was like, the lady's like, oh, she's not, tells her that the daughter's not here. I can't think of that daughter's name. Every time I get on camera, I cannot think of that daughter's name. So anyway, y'all got to drop it in the comments. Like, I'm going to have to like look her name up and just like memorize it. I can never think of the daughter's name. So anyway, she was like, she was so-so, she's like, who? No, she's like, I bought you groceries. So Mercedes coming in to bring her groceries. She sees that the lady's show ain't really had nothing in her refrigerator. Her refrigerator's looking more just empty, more empty, okay? Emptier than mine be looking sometime, okay, when I need to go grocery shopping. So anyway, then she's throwing the old groceries away. She looks at the trash. She sees all these empty alcohol bottles. She's like, how long it take you to finish those? And then she was like, leave me alone. I don't have no problem. I need a job right now. And she's like, not there at that pole where you be working. And so it's like, dang, shit, like, girl, you also got a problem. Mercedes is like, I'm worried about you. I'm concerned. She's like, why don't you let me take, her daughter off her hands for you for a little while. And then she was like, oh, you ain't slick. Like, she not about to be living in that ghetto hell that you live in. And so then Mercedes is like, you know what? Nothing ever going to be good enough for you, is it? So then Mercedes just left. And so then she proceeded to call her daughter, but the daughter wasn't answering. Is her name Katori or Katori? I don't know what her name is. Anyway, the daughter didn't answer. So then Coach was beeping in on the other line. So then she switched her voice up real quick. She's like, hey, Coach. And so then he's like, hey, Mercedes, I really want you to come finish that Mercedes experience for me. And then he's like, Farrah can't stop talking about it. She can't get enough of you. And she was like, oh, I don't know. And he was like, come on, please. And then she's like, well, sometimes I just really wanted to be me and you. But she lied. So then he was like, come on, it makes my wife happy. And if my wife's happy, then I'm happy. Then she's like, okay. So of course she was going. So then we see Mercedes. We're just going to finish up Mercedes right now until the end, right? So then Mercedes goes over there to get, I don't know what city they're in. There must be like in a major city in Mississippi, I'm assuming. So anyway, Mercedes goes to the condo, and then her and Farrah kind of like giggling. Coach is like, I don't know if I'm better handle the both of y'all. So he go make his little step to prepare for the sex for him. I forgot what the wife said it is, and then she was like, the wife is Farrah is telling Mercedes like, oh, I couldn't stop thinking about you, and she's trying to like, touch all over Mercedes. Mercedes like, you better stop, like you're not gonna ruin my bag, right? And then she was like, don't worry, like the coach can't hear you, and she was like, you gotta act like nothing happened between us. And so then she was like, what are you talking about? So then, sorry y'all about the notification. So then the coach, he get ready. He's like, come on, let's get this Mercedes experience started. So then we see them upstairs having a little threesome fun, right? And so the coach, he back there doing his thing. Farrah looks like she kind of on the top and side of Mercedes, and then Mercedes is like, do it faster. And then Farrah started really putting in the work. Coach like bowed out. He gave up. He started putting on his robe and pajamas. The next day I said, what happened, Coach? Like, you're not enjoying your wife getting off? Like, you're not enjoying this scene? So then he was like, so then Mercedes and Farrah finished, okay? They were having a good old time. So then Coach was like, babe, you cheating on me? He started getting, oh man, I was like, not Coach. Same Coach that's running the girls in here, and now you mad because your wife liked the girl? Like, really? You got the nerve, Coach. So Coach got all mad at Farrah. He's like, oh, you been cheating on me? She's like, what you talking about? And he was like, I could see when two lesbians together, oh, now all of a sudden you better at, you bumping uglies real good. She's like, what? And then he was like, when did you like pussy? And then she was like, I've always liked it. She was like, the 19 years you've never asked me what I like, what I wanted. My dreams has only been about you. So Mercedes back there standing up for her like, yes, that's what you been doing, Coach. I'm like, Mercedes, this ain't your fight, Mercedes. I was like, don't pipe up back there, Mercedes. Like, that's nice of you to support your girl, but I need you to be quiet, girl, because you finna mess up your money. So then Coach was like, she was like, yeah, I've been liking girls like just as much as you, even more. Like, you don't even know. And so then he was like, that's it. Like, you ain't getting no money, Mercedes. And then she's like, you still owe me my 40 G's. And then he's like, you ain't getting nothing. He started picking up the money from the table. I was like, Mercedes, you better go get your money, girl. No. And so then Farrah was like, no, you can't break a deal. And then he was like, the hell? So he's pissed because he could see that Farrah likes Mercedes, and like Mercedes and Farrah are having a thing now. But I mean, my thing is, Coach, you brought him in, like, y'all can make it a situation. Like, I don't get why he got so mad, but men can't take nothing. Sorry to my men subscribers, my men viewers, men can't take it. Okay. So anyway, Farrah went and got Mercedes shoes because, she had to go along with her. Sorry, y'all. Had to go along with her man. I like that robe Farrah had on. It was really, really pretty. So then Mercedes just got her bags and left. She didn't get her money. I was like, dang. But she do got a contract. I'm like, girl, you better get your money with that contract. Get a lawyer, do something, Mercedes, because that is not right. Like, Coach really had his nerves. So anyway, y'all. Okay, so then let's get back down to Autumn. Okay, let's get to Autumn. So Autumn goes on to this like black tie fair to this house she didn't get invited to. I think she went in as the name Lakeisha Savage. So of course, Andre's up there making his, mayor to be speech, doing it's like a political party kind of shindig. So anyway, he's making a speech and talking about the casino and saying how like this is the time for Mississippi to make their wrongs right, spreading the wealth among the people, there's going to be a renaissance for Chuckalisa and all that. Like, they don't want to just only the white people get money and that's it. They want to spread the wealth to everybody, which, sounds good, but does it really happen in real life? No. So then Autumn asks out loud, what makes you think that you can make it, equality, wealth for everybody? And so then I forgot what he said back. So then, of course, Corbin, he's pissed to see her there. And so then they all start to debating and arguing. And so then Andre took that white man, I can't think of his name, to the cigar room. And then Corbin got rid of Lakeisha Savage, a.k.a. Autumn, put her out the room. So then she was outside smoking a cigarette. This white lady, I forgot what they called the white lady, Mrs. Watson or something like that. So she came up. So then Autumn walks in with her. She's like, I thought, wasn't sure if you're going to come or not. And so then she was like, oh, yes, honey. And so she's like, let me take you to the cigar room. So like the white lady thinks that Autumn is just like a cigar girl or something. And so she happened to her fur. And so then she took her in there and she's like, give me a rum and Coke without the Coke. So then she got her rum drink and they're all back there in the cigar room. And she was like, talking about how Andre let the bid go, remember from the finale last season, how he's like, well, I only have 40,000 to bid. And I tried to call the white man, I can't think of his name. Anyway, he's like, but he didn't answer. And so then the white lady, what they call her, Chloe or something like that. Anyway, or Mrs. Watson, I don't know. So she was like, oh, was you too busy? He was too busy pinning his wife to the bed and Bora Bora. And she was like, next time, Andre, you need to just, bid on it. Don't ask for permission, just do it. And so she was like, I don't want my casino, thing getting interrupted. So then Autumn was like, well, actually, it all worked out because I'm the new owner of the Pink now. And so then she's like, yeah, because they were trying to only pay $40,000 for it, and we wouldn't have want that to get on CNN of the white people robbing, pretty much stealing property from the black people, because that's what it looks like, and that's what happens in these situations, right? And so then the white lady was like, oh, you are not Cigar Girl. She's like, okay, like I'm gonna be talking to you. And then Corbin was like, well, this is gonna be the new mayor, Chuckalisa, talking about Andre. She was like, I don't care who the mayor is as long as my casino deal goes through. And so then she left. And so then we see Andre got home and he poured himself a drink. And so he's on the phone with Corbin. He's like, well, we got the endorsement. Like, that's all that matters. Corbin going off about Autumn. Like, I can't stand that beat. She don't know how things work at Chuckalisa. She over here playing with the whoop. So Autumn is sitting in the house. I'm like, well, how's she get in the house? Like, she is a shifty one, though. She is a shifty one. So anyway, she said something. So then he got off the phone with her real quick because, like, she was responding to whatever Corbin said. It was actually really funny. And so then he was like, what are you doing here? Like, you keep messing things up for me. Like, this is not a game for me. This is not a pre-midlife crisis. Like, I'm really trying to be the mayor. She's like, I know. Like, I want it to work out for you. And then he was like, you keep making me do stuff I don't want to do. Like, I know the right thing to do, but you keep making me do the bad thing. And so then she was like, well, maybe I make you do what you want to do. And then he was like, I let you win the bid. And she stood up and he's like, I let you win the bid. I could have bid you, but I let you win. She's like, okay, yeah, you let me win. Like, okay, you're in charge. You're the boss, sir. Tell me what to do. And then he was like, what? She's like, tell me what to do. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. How do you want me? So then, of course, they get all sexy. He tells her to take off her dress. So she had on that red pretty dress, and then she had on a red bra, red panties, some really cute shoes. I was like, oh, yeah, I don't look at all sexy. So then she took off her dress, and then he told her to get on her knees. She on her knees, she crawled over to him, then she stood up, she took off her panties. Next thing to know, they started having sex and getting all freaky on the bed. They had them a good little time too. So anyway, oh my gosh, y'all. So I should have put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I always forget. I'm sorry. So let's get back over to Uncle Murda and Teak. Okay. I mean, not Uncle Murda. I always say Uncle Murda, Lil Murda and Teak. So actually before we get there, let's get to Uncle Clifford and his grandmother. So he taking his grandmother's blood sugar, give her a little prick on the finger. He said it's normal, but you could see that the grandma is up there sweating and coughing and stuff. I'm like, oh, she got COVID. I mean, she got the Rona. I'm like, oh, no. So he calls the girl that was always sneezing and had the allergies. And so she sounded horrible. And so, first he took her, the grandma's temperature and said it was 102 or something. He was like, oh my God. So then he called the girl that was always having allergies, sneezing, and then she was sounding real sick. And he was like, allergies my ass. Toy, I think was her name. So anyway, he hangs up on her. So then he like, dang, like, okay, now he's seen his grandma sick. He got to deal with that. So now we're going to get over to Lil Murda and Teak. So Lil Murda and Teak, after the barbershop, Teak was like, where you want me to drop you off? Talking about Lil Murda. Lil Murda's like, well, now I ain't got really nothing else to do. Like, I'll just roll around the hood with you. Like, it's fine. So then he's like, all right. Like, Teak seemed like he wanted to go do his own thing. So then they go to eat at this, like, little restaurant or whatever. And so the lady was bringing in their food with the girl with the waitress with the blue hair. So she was really like a Teak, and she's like, oh, you got some pretty eyes, and he's all blushed and stuff. She's like, I didn't mean to make you blush and make you redder than you already are. So Lil Murda was like, excuse me, miss, can you get us 2 waters and maybe get one for yourself? And then so she was like, okay, rude. I was like, dang, Lil Murda, heck a block and Teak. And I guess he's like, he ain't gonna get my man. She ain't gonna get my man. So then she was like, rude. And he was like, oh, thirsty girl. And so then Teak was like, don't be hating. So then Teak and Lil Murda get to having this conversation. And it's kind of a romantic, like, forbidden love scene. It was done very well. And so Lil Murda was saying, thank you to Teak for being there for him. And Teak was like, I'm about to enjoy these lemon pepper wings. And he was like, this is on me. I'm like, where's Teak getting his money from? Maybe from being on the road with Lil Murda, I guess. So then Lil Murda's like, oh, this is a date. And so then T kind of like looked up at him and smiled, and he was like, Lil Murda was like, I guess this, this was not as good as the candlelit pasta dinner I had for you in the closets. I guess that's some episode thing they did in prison. So Teak was saying like, yeah, I thought I first was getting pulled into the broom closet to be booty buddies with one of the guards or something. And so, but I was thinking, well, you did become something like that with Lil Murda. But anyway, I mean, y'all love each other though. That's different. So anyway, Teak was like, yeah, I never thought we would get to do this, and but that was then, this is now, and you've moved on. He was like, as you should. And he was like, well, tell me about Cliff. And so he was like, well, she. And he's like, she. Because, Teak's mind, Lil Murda like men, not women. So he was like, well, she was like, well, he's a dude, but he liked to be called, it's my nigga Cliff, but, she liked to be called she, right? It's my nigga Cliff. So then, so Teak couldn't even wrap his head around how that worked. And so then he was like, man, so much has changed. A lot has changed. Like, that's different. A lot is different now. And so then he was like, so what about Cliff? And she was like, Lil Murda was just saying all these good things about Cliff. He's like an eclipse. He's like, he's shooting craps, and you went into however he explained it, because I don't shoot craps, but he's just saying all these things. Cliff is like funnel cake on a summer day at the fair. He's amazing. And Cliff is amazing. So then he's like, but I effed it up. And he's like, and then Teak's like, yeah, like that always happening. And he's like, yeah, I'm always effing up. And then he looked at Teak and said, I effed up, like kind of apologizing to him. And then he slid his hand on the table, then they touched each other's hand, and T closed his eyes, and they had a little moment, but then they slid their hands back. I guess the waitress didn't see it, I don't know. So then he like, Teak touched him on the face or something, said, you're forgiven. And so then they had their little moment. So then they went to the gas station. And so Lil Murda told Teak, put this in a gas tank. I guess he gave him a debit card or something, or a credit card. And so then Teak went around, he's like, you want premium or regular? And he was like, nigga, you finna put regular gas in there. I was like, I know that's right. And so then Teak, he didn't know how to do the gas. He said, I don't even know how to do this. So in that moment I was like, oh, Teak was locked up a long time. Teak was really locked up a long time. And so then he kind of reminded me, he was like a little boy. He was just so innocent in that scene to me. And so Lil Murda showed him how to do the gas. Lil Murda's so patient and gentle with Teak. It's so amazing. So anyway, he showed him how to do the gas and all that. And then we hear Lil Murda's song come on the radio. So then he goes to turn the girl's radio up. And she's like, hey. And she was like, that's me, that's me. So then they all getting hyped. And Teak is getting hyped. And he's like so excited. He's like a kid in the candy store. He was just so happy. And then he tells him like, man, I knew you would do that. And it's like this moment. And so then Lil Murda's on top of the car. Then so then somebody comes up behind him. He's like, hey, like, is you gonna move, nigga? I gotta get gas. And so then Teak act like he gonna fight the guy. And Lil Murda, he took him off of him. And he's like, I should have let him beat you up. And so then the girls come up. She's like, oh, since you famous. So then Lil Murda played his part. And I was like, look at him. And so they took pictures with the girls. And so then they had a good time doing that. So then we see Lil Murda and Teak pull up at like a trap house, basically, a drug house. And so Worde was on the phone with him on FaceTime, and he said somebody wants him to come perform in Jacksonville or somewhere like that. And so he was like, oh my God, that's amazing. He's like, yeah, look at Rome died and this came, look at God. I was like, oh, they was wrong for that. They was wrong for that. And so then Rody kept saying how, it's a shame Rome overdosed. And so then Teak went in the house. And so he was like, where Teak at? The ward is asking Lil Murda. Excuse me, you guys. So Lil Murda was like, oh, he just went to cop him, whatever, some drug, whatever. So then he was like, yeah, he can't come back on tour with us. So then he was like, man, why not? He my security. He's like, yeah, he too big. And he's like, don't you need a big person for security? He's like, you always have to walk that ice and chain around your neck. Like, that will anchor you down. Like, that's fine enough. And then he was like, nah, come on, man, you just got out. Like, come on, I want to give him this job. And then Word was like, look, if you don't want to do it, I'll do it for you. And then Lil Murda's like, how come you keep saying Rome overdose? Like, funny how you know that. Word was like, look, man, like, so, like, basically, like, don't worry about that. So then next thing you know, the phone battery died. So then I was like, Lil Murda, you have your charger with you, but that's neither here nor there. So then he looks in the glove box, I guess, to see if a charger is in there. I don't know if Teak would have had a charger. I don't know. So some of it wasn't making sense to me, y'all. So he looks in the glove box and he pulls out the gun. He's like, oh, shoot, because Teak forgot to take the gun in there with him. Because, of course, he's going in a dangerous situation. Now, Teak is walking through the house, y'all. Teak is walking through the house. And you can tell he's going through something mentally. And, you know, you see all these interesting things going in the house. You see kids in there. You see mattresses on the floor, little TVs. It's crazy stuff. He started hearing these noises, these kids, okay? And so he started hearing these kids. Now, I don't know if it was before that scene or not. He was talking about when his mom, I guess, had killed his siblings. So no, he describes it afterwards. So let me not jump around. So he's like in the house and he's like hearing all this screaming and all this stuff, but it's not really happening. It's in his mind. So then he's walking slowly to this closet. He opens his closet. He sees a little boy. So the little boy's supposed to be him. He's seeing himself scared in the closet as a little boy. So then Lil Murda comes in and kind of snaps him out the trance, like, man, what you doing? He's like, you don't ever come in a trap house without your piece. And then he's like, oh, my bad. And so then he puts a gun in his back pocket, and I was like, oh, no. And so then they go outside, and they're staying outside the house. And so then Lil Murda's like, why you want to come here anyway? Like, we could have went to my house, and I keep a stash. And so then he was like, this used to be my house. And then Lil Murda's like, used to be. Like, and so then Teak is like, you could tell he going through something. And so then he was like, man, like, that room, like, this used to be my house. Like, my mom, you know, so basically his mom, I guess, stabbed his siblings, and you could hear them crying. And he was like, you know, Lil Murda's like, you gotta leave that stuff here. It's in the past. We're moving forward now. Like, come on, straighten up. So then we see, let's go back to Keyshawn, because I don't think I finished that part. So Derek came home, right? And Keyshawn was just sitting there holding the baby after her plan fell through. I was like, girl, your plan was not solid. But hopefully she gets out of that situation. So he came home and he kissed her. And he was like, oh, yeah, they got the backyard looking real nice. Next time they want me to bring the kids. And she's like, oh, okay. And he's like, everything okay? And she's like, oh, yeah. And he was like, he said the phone showed you never moved. So I was like, does he have a tracker on her? I was like, oh, no. So then she's like, oh, yeah, we just stayed right here, watched Peppa Pig all day. And so he was like hugging on her and kissing on her. And she's just holding the baby. Keyshawn just looked so defeated in life. Before he came in, she was holding the gun, I think. But then she hid it in the pillow. So she was contemplating doing something. She just needs to get out of there. She just got out of there. Okay. So anyway, back to Lil Murda and Teak. We see Lil Murda and Teak go. They're like in the woods. They playing beats on the car. They doing So Fresh and So Clean by Outkast, and they did another song, and Teak said it was some of the lyrics that Lil Murda had slid to him when he was in the hole. So then Lil Murda was saying, you always felt bad about you being in the hole. Ever since you was there, you never been the same. And then he was like, nigga, that was my first time in the hole. He was like, when I saw Boosie standing over you like that, it was reminding me of my mama. And he was saying, like, people think the tears on my face are for how many people I killed. He's like, no, that's for, and he named all his siblings' names. I can't remember their names, y'all. So he was, I think this is a scene where he further explained what his mom did to his siblings and how I guess she stabbed them from what it sounded like. And he ran and hid in the closet and he can hear them screaming and the blood was rushing like a river, he said, until it got silent. I was like, oh my gosh. And he was like, I was supposed to die back there. He's like, I've been in the hole. So I was like, oh my goodness. Like, how do you live with that as a kid? That's trauma. And you know he's never got that healed. Look at where he ended up in prison. He's never got that healed. And he, yeah, that was hard. That was hard. That whole scene when they were in the woods. So, first of all, before I discuss the scene, like I said, if you're dealing with mental health issues, you're dealing with unhealed trauma, please, please, please reach out for help. Please reach out for help. Even if you gotta, DM me on Twitter at Brandy Yvonne, even if you gotta email me at BrandyYvonne33@gmail.com, like, I will try to direct you to some help in wherever area you live in. No, I'm not a mental health crisis hotline or person, but I just want anyone that feels like there's no hope or no help, that there is help and hope for them, okay? So scene goes on, like I said, they're sitting on top of the car, he's explaining all that. And so Lil Murda was like, you held me down. Like, if it was for you, I wouldn't be where I am. And so he was like, we about to go back on tour tomorrow. But, we're going to look ahead. So Lil Murda's basically trying to encourage Teak to be positive, look forward to things to come, like, let the past go. But the Teak is not there yet mentally. Like, he going to need more than that to get him through. So then he's like, you enjoy tomorrow. Like, I'm about to enjoy it right now. So they just sit on the car smoking and drinking, whatever. So then they get back in the car, and Teak was like, where you want me to take you now? And so then Lil Murda was like, nowhere. Like, I'm about to just sit and watch the sunrise with you, because I know what you're going to do. You're going to let them negative thoughts eat you up like maggots and be all in your feelings. He's like, you all weak and stuff, so I'm going to just be here with you now. And then he was like, no, where you want me to take you? He's like, no, I told you I'm staying here right here with you. He's like, you need to get out the car, Lil Murda. And so then he pulled out the gun and put it to his head. His part was so hard, y'all. I was like, oh my gosh. So then he's like, nah, Teak. Like, he's trying to tell Teak, like, no, I'm right here with you. I'm rooting for you. You have so much to live for. Like, come on, don't do this. Don't do this. He's like, nah, you need to go. You need to get out the car. You need to get the car. He's like, no, man. Like, you tell Lil Murda's even getting emotional. And Teak just wasn't hearing it. He's like, no, I'm going from the dark to the light now. And so, and then he was saying something about the devil earlier too. That was, interesting lines. I can't repeat it verbatim, but anyway, so it's just saying like the devil got him or the devil's in him, and Lil Murda's like, nah. So anyway, in that scene, Lil Murda's just trying to talk him off the ledge. He got the gun to his head. Teak's not hearing him, so they kind of pan out from the car. He does like, please do not show this man shooting himself. So I'm glad they didn't do it. They showed the car, and we heard the bang and the flash, so he shot himself. Next thing we know, we see Lil Murda get out the car, and he's like holding himself. He got all this blood on his sweatsuit. So I almost thought he got shot too, but I think it was just the impact, and then probably Teak's head, fell on him, and the blood got on him and all that. He was in close proximity, so he probably got a lot of blood on him. So then he got out, and he's all like, he can't even stand up. This is crazy. So then he's all bloody and stuff. So, then they flash back to Mercedes. Oh, before I get to Mercedes, I knew I forgot a part, y'all. I'm sorry. So when they were at the little spades game, right, and Diamond walking through with a big old rifle, like, he's a kid T, he's not playing. So the guy that Roulette had, slobbed on the knob previously in the season, she's like, hey, what's up? She's like, oh, hey, baby boy, how you doing? And he was like, what's up with the, the white girl Whisper? And then she's like, oh, she don't really get down like that. And then he was like, oh, let me know, because I would, eat her out for, however much money, he said. And then she was like, dang, I wish I would have just laid on my back and I had to got on my knees. He's like, come on, like, just ask her, see if she down for it. Like, it's going to come back to you. So then she kind of like, we see her later on looking at the mirror herself, and then looking back at Whisper, and just kind of, she just feeling some type of way. I think it was the whole, that girl is white and she's black, and that guy only wanted, head from her, but he want to, get pleasure, Whisper. I think that was the whole thing in her mind. And then just, I think she's also self-reflecting on, like, the situation she's in. I don't know why I keep hitting this table, y'all. I talk with my hands, sorry. So anyway, then later on we see her outside in the car smoking a cigarette, because she's just kind of over it. And so then the white boy, I can't think of his name right now either way, the one that had the truck connect. So he came, and then she's like, what you doing out here? You following me? And then he's like, maybe. And then he was like, I thought I saw you in there. He said he came to drop off some party favors, so I'm assuming drugs. And so then she was like, she was like, I'm surprised you noticed me. And he was like, of course, like, you know, I'm gonna notice you. You the prettiest girl in there. And then she's like, oh, I know you lying. And then he was like, you really are. And then he was like, I'm, you know, like basically he liking her, he liking what he see. And then she was like, well then, you know, I asked with you, whatever. And he's like, I asked with you too. She's like, but I'm a hoe though. Then he was like, oh, guess what? I'm a hoe. So they start kissing. So they had a little connection. Okay. Now, back over to Mercedes. I hope I didn't miss nothing else, y'all. I didn't want to miss something important like I did last week. So anyway, I feel like this review is getting long too, so I'm trying to wrap it up. So then we see Mercedes at home. She took her wig off. She drinking Hennessy. She took her lashes off. She just like, dang, she did this coach deal and messed up. I'm like, girl, you better get the money from Farrah. You better figure it out, Mercedes. So anyway, so then we see she has a knock on the door. So she gets up and it's her daughter, Terica. That's the girl's name, Terica. The light bulb went off, y'all. So then Terica's at the door. She's like, dang near hunched over crying. And she got her pregnancy test in her hand. Mercedes like, what's going on? What's wrong? And then she showed her pregnancy test and she's pregnant. So now Terica is repeating the pattern of her mom, Mercedes, okay? So then back over to Uncle Clifford's house, the doorbell rings, and I don't know why the grandma was opening the door, so letting Uncle Clifford do it. So then she's open the door, she's like, Daddy, is that you? And so then she all coughing coming down the stairs. I'm like, Grandma, sit down and lay down in the bed, girl. So then we see Lil Murda at the door with all the blood on him, and he's just like, Clifford, like he could barely even talk. And so then Clifford comes to the door, and he sees Lil Murda, and they kind of pause, and then he kind of don't even know what to do with him. So then he hugs him and holds him, and then he walks him in the house. And that was pretty much the end of the episode. It was a heavy episode. It was a lot happening, y'all. Let me know what y'all thought of this review, of this episode, and we will talk soon. Okay? Y'all have a great day.